What's going on, guys? This is another episode of Impact Society. I have another group of our founder group, and they're going to be on our podcast talking about their movement and how they joined our movement to help empower what they're already doing to impact the community. So stay tuned for this episode of Impact Society. Welcome back to Impact Society, baby. And we're ready for another episode. I got some more of my founder group here. And these are actually partners. They already had a movement that they were on to impact the community. They saw what we were doing. They said, hey, can we join forces? Absolutely. We love when that happens, right? Because you guys already have momentum. We have momentum. And so our goal is always to go out there and partner with other people to help with the community and bringing resources, education, and things of that nature. So, introducing on our podcast, we have Larry and Jasiel. How y'all doing today?
What's going on, bro? Doing good.
Hey, Larry, what I want you to do for everybody is the movement's called Hero. Mm-hmm. Help them understand what Hero stands for and what exactly Hero does for the people.
So, a lot like the Impact Society, we connect people with the resources and information they need to take their life to the next level.
Okay.
Right? Hero actually stands for helping everybody remove obstacles. And just, through my experience, what I've seen is that most people that feel stuck, let's say, there's a handful of simple obstacles that people need to get over or get around or move through in order to get to the other side. And a big part of that is financial literacy. Understanding how money works. Like a lot of my clients, 6 figures, some of them, but they're making what most people would consider good money, but they still feel broke.
Yeah.
They still feel stuck. And it really boils down to a lack of financial literacy and not knowing how money works, not knowing what to do with the money when you get it. So, going from that to seeing what you guys are doing, it was kind of like the next step, the cherry on top, right? Because I've always been able to show people how to make money. I can show you how to get free from your job, how to budget your way out of poverty. But what we're doing long term and building the legacy, there's certain tools, certain steps that need to be taken. And that's one thing I saw that you guys provide to the community.
Man, what's crazy is that middle class technically wasn't supposed to exist. Mm-hmm. What it was just rich and poor. But capitalism has a way of making anybody rich if you apply yourself, right? And so where middle class comes from is when the poor were headed towards becoming wealthy, but they brought their bad habits with them and got stuck.
Right.
And they got stuck in middle class because they didn't understand how money works like the wealthy do, right? And so they bring their bad habits with them. And instead of being able to use that new income and they use that to go get in more debt, which is what they did when they were in poverty.
More
right?
stuff.
And it's like, man, you could have been a millionaire by now, but for the last 7 years, you've been paying on this, $200,000 car, that $700,000 house that you don't need right now. And they forget, like, the goal is not to look rich, but to be rich. And that's where middle class comes from. When you first saw, Impact Society, we were part of a big conference with a company, right? Mm-hmm. On our financial literacy side, that was at the Henry B. Gonzalez. And tell the people how you came across that, and what made you say, "Dang, this is something I would join."
So, the reason why I came to the conference was because I wanted to see Les Brown, and Waka too. But I really wanted to see Les Brown. That was my selling point, right? And I don't think I realized until I got there who the larger company was that was holding the event. Mm-hmm. And even when I realized, I was there for, you know, a whole different reason. So I was like, I'm gonna go get what I want out of this, and you know what I'm saying, go on about my life. I think I even told her, I was like, I'm not joining in
Hey, babe, when we
insurance.
get in here, we're not
Right.
doing this.
No.
Yeah, we're
Literally.
not doing that. But the whole time, like I said, you know, being in the financial services industry, because I started with credit repair and business funding, and you know, just being in touch with, having connections with other people in the industry, there were some things that I had heard about life insurance that kind of had my ear open. And when I walked in the room and I really got the real meat and potatoes of what was going on, I was like, I have to. Like, I can't call myself a financial educator without having these resources, without being able to provide this kind of service and opportunity to my clients. So yeah, I mean, because even at that point, this was what, a couple years ago now. I think around like the pandemic time, a lot of new information started coming out about how some of these processes, some of these services, how life insurance works, right? And being in the room, I realized there's so many people that I was seeing on social media that I had no idea were connected to each other were all in this same room. And these are people that I see, and I share their reels and I save them so I can go back and look at them and research and, you know, get to the bottom of what they're talking about. And one thing you always say is, one thing that will determine your success is the proximity you have to the people that are doing what you want to do.
That's right.
Right? 3 things that'll change your life: the books you read, the events you attend, and the people you associate yourself with. So I'm at an event with Les Brown and Waka Flocka, and I never liked Waka's music. I didn't start to like Waka until he started talking about money.
Waka!
Right? So
I Go Hard in the Paint was hard though, man.
Right,
Hey,
So
there's some songs that Waka had now.
yeah, they go hard. They go hard, but they're not doing for the community what needs to be done. What
Gotcha.
we need so
that's-
strongly, right? But I'm there to see Les Brown, and you know, Waka's there. That's cool. So the event, I got a whole bunch of information, clear insight into, you know, some of the pieces that I was missing. Then, you know, the people that's here, like all the people that I've been looking at and watching grow in this industry for a couple years now. And PBD was there. You know, I've read his book, Your Next 5 Moves. And I'm like, this was even before I heard you say that, you know, the 3 things that'll change your life. But it was those things. They're here, the information's here, the event, all these people are in the same room. This is a place where I need to be. And this is a place where I need to invite others to be, because the value here is far and beyond what can be, I guess, put into words. You know what I mean?
Awesome. Jessica, you want to tell them a little bit about your background and how you also got, yes, y'all were together. He kind of brought you, introduced you to what we're doing, but tell everybody, you know, a little bit about your background and then kind of what you saw with Impact Society and how this could be something that you would affiliate with.
So for me, I had the typical JOB. That's what I was taught, grew up with it. Being with Larry and introduced to completely the other side, different from what I grew up doing. He mentioned going to some event.
Whatever you say, babe, I'm going.
And actually, at the time, I was a hostess at a restaurant, and one of the guys I worked with, he mentioned something about it, and I was like, oh, well, hey, do you have extra tickets? And he's like, oh, yeah, I could probably get some. And when we pulled up, that's how we ended up getting tickets, was he didn't even know who he was, and I actually walked up to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, we have tickets, and that's how we ended up there. And
Man, hold up. So y'all didn't even have actual tickets.
no.
But you wanted to go.
Right.
No,
And you found out that the event was going on, Les Brown was going to be there, and somebody happened to give y'all some tickets.
I completely forgot about that whole part of the
Holy
situation.
moly.
Right. He
The whole
mentioned
part of the
it,
situation.
and the guy I worked with, he had mentioned it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my mom's involved in this thing," but he didn't tell me what it was. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird. My boyfriend was just talking about that, and he wants to go." And I was like, "Do you have extra tickets?" So when we pulled up, he actually walked up to him and didn't even know that was the guy I worked with, and asked him, and then he introduced him to another lady, and that's how we got the tickets, and then we ended up there. I had no idea what I was walking into, but I walked in and I was like, wow, okay. And I think the next day I actually had to work, so he went to the next session, and I was at work, and then he picked me up from work, and then we went to, I think, like the gala that end of the night or something. But by the end of it, I know he said he didn't want to join, but I was like, no, I don't know. I think I do. But I mean, of course, I just kind of stood by him, and I was like, well, we'll see what happens. And then we ended up joining, and
And then
ever
somebody
since-
told y'all to come check out what we're doing specifically.
Right. We had two
Yeah.
separate opportunities to go check out two different places, and he actually went to the first one and checked it out on his own because, like I said, I had a job. But the second one we went with together because he was like, no, I didn't like the vibe in there. It wasn't right. So then that's when we came to Impact Society, and from then on we
You're like, hold
started
up.
running with y'all. All right, let's we like them. Let's stick with y'all. So
Let's make this happen.
right.
Awesome. And our goal ever since then is just plugging in and being able to go out and educate people, bring resources that they didn't have. And then whatever resources you already had, we're adding to those resources to help, level up the service that you're delivering for your people, right?
Right.
And man, it's just been a great journey that we're on, right? I always tell everybody, it's like, what's crazy? Is I had a dream some odd years back, and I never knew how it was going to really play out technically. But when I woke up from this dream, I had a big dream. I was going to go out and, well, let me break the dream down real quick. So I had a dream that I was standing in the middle of two different, like, fields, if you want to call it, or two different, like, complexes. Like, one was an apartment complex on the left side, and on the right side, it was kind of like an apartment complex, but it's kind of like abandoned almost, it looked like. And then what I would notice, because I was watching both sides, right, is that on the left side, everybody's playing, they're living their life, they're doing their thing. And on the right side, every time the night fell, they was over here feeding something in this hole, right? And I'm watching this, and then all of a sudden, this beast comes up out of the ground, and all I knew is, boom, I gotta go. And I started running, and I'm knocking on doors, boom, 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 through the apartment complex. And I'm waking people up to the fact that there's a war going on, right? And as I would do that, though, some people would join me in knocking on the doors, right? The same night that I had that dream, I had another dream. And in the other dream, I had a dream where we're in everybody's on a river, and we're just, playing football, and, just everybody's in their own floaty, and we're just floating down a river. And all of a sudden I see this, like, shadow going through the water, right? And I'm like, what the heck is that? And all of a sudden it came and flipped me up out of my tube, and I fall in the water. But when I wake up out of the water, I notice there's a waterfall ahead of us. And I started, like, shaking people, like, hey, man, there's a waterfall. And, like, some people woke up. Some other people was like, hey, man, stop bothering me, right? And then it translates. Now I'm on the shoreline, and I'm huffing and puffing. And I look to my right and left, and there's a group of people that I helped. But there's another group that are still on the river, and they're falling off the waterfall, right? I'm bringing that up because, like 2004, November 2004, early 2005, I get this idea of me building a city. And I was like, how? How am I going to build a city? And I look at New Braunfels, and I look at San Marcos. They're about 38,000 to 40,000 acres. I don't have 38, 40,000 acres. How the heck am I going to get that, right?
Right.
I'm a po' boy at the time. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do all these things? And, actually, it was Dream Motivates, by the way. Shout out to Dream. Helped me put all this together. But it's a 20-year vision in the making. But society is a group of people. And this is building a city without needing walls and needing city governance and stuff like that. This is a group of people with a vision aligned to go out there and create impact, right? And when you create impact, is something that strikes, and it'll wake people up, and it'll shake people up. And one of my favorite verses in the scriptures, it says, Acts 17 verse 6, says, those are the people who are turning the world upside down. And I wanted to be known as one of those guys, one of the guys that are turning the world upside down. And so you guys partnering with us to go out and create impact, right? One of the most overlooked and underserved part of America is multicultural America. And, sometimes, I'm from a certain part of the community and stuff like that. Some people accept it, but others don't. And others would rather see their own people, right? And so you guys getting plugged in with us, how do you see, what's your vision? How do you see yourself growing from where we are currently today to go out and create this society of impact? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, one, it starts with the education. People can't change until they have the information necessary to, identify where they've been going wrong and orient themselves in the right direction. One of the biggest reasons that I'm here, even aside from the team building aspect, is I realized quickly that this is a place where I'm going to learn what I want to know, but I'm also going to get paid to learn and paid to share this information with other people, right? So, like in your story about the dream you had, you are purposefully waking everybody up and alerting them to the danger. While everybody's not going to react or respond in their best, lost the word.
Best of interest, technically.
Right.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
But we still have a job to do. We have damn near an obligation, being this information being bestowed on us to go out and share it with those that are willing to accept it, right? Everybody's not going to, it is what it is, but what do we look like just gatekeeping the information?
Yeah,
right?
Or quitting when it's too hard.
Or quitting when it's too hard.
Right? No, they're not responding. I'm going to go ahead and stop.
And I heard you mention Charleston White earlier. I think he said something that really, captured me one time in one of his interviews. But, we could do everything we need to do. Actually, it wasn't Charleston White. It was Killer Mike. But we could do all we need to do to get to where we want to be and set ourselves in a certain position and situation, right? And that's all well and good, but you got kids in a world where people don't have much of anything, no hope, no information, no lack of resources, right? So if we do our best to take advantage of the information we've been provided, right? Yes, that's going to help our family, but to an extent, our loved ones, the people closest to us, are still in danger if we don't go out and share this information and help other people as well, right? So as appreciative as I am to have access to this information, I also understand it's kind of like with great
power
comes great responsibility. It's one of those type things. I have it now. Yeah, I'm fortunate to have it, but it's of limited value to me if I don't share it with others.
Right.
It's the gift and the curse.
Right.
So to answer the question, the goal, the mission is to, I guess convert is probably not the right word, but I want to expose as many people as possible to this way of life, this way of thinking, this information, because once you have it for yourself and you apply it, once you execute on, these frameworks that we've been presented, there's no downside to it, right? It's up from here. So,
It's crazy. We're having Matt Sapala's he just dropped his book, Keep the Keys. And, it's crazy because I went all the way up to Dallas to go be a part of the event because I'm in real estate. And so Keep the Keys, him dropping that book to talk about real estate strategy and stuff, I said, man, I got to be a part of it. I go up there and it's proximity, like you said earlier, right? And because of that, man, I met some certain people that, have already been able to pour back into my life, or we've had an exchange of value, I'd like to say, right? And one thing I always tell people is like, that is the key to success. Is 50% is just showing up, putting yourself in front of people or near people. It's like if you want to get warm, get close to a fire, right? That proximity is going to literally change your life, and even if it doesn't change your life today, the consistency of just showing up. We've been able to do some crazy things, man, just because we've been able to just show up consistently, right? When everybody thought that, Pat's not going to show up anymore, man. Pat had a tragedy, hit his life and all this stuff. Man, we just kept showing up. And because of that, like, this whole concept impacts society. 20 years in the making. If you notice, there's hands inside. Have you ever seen the design of hands where everybody's overlapping their hands? Mm-hmm. They say it's the strongest like form of being able to lift a group of people up, right? Mm-hmm. And if we all just came locked in the hands, but to think like this can't happen with one hand,
right?
Or two,
or just two,
or my own hands,
right?
It takes a group of people to come together and decide that no matter what your differences are, whatever. One thing matters, and that is there's people that need hope. In a world full of hopelessness, when I look out, 78% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, average families in over $16,000 in credit card debt. 60% have no financial literacy at all. 60% don't even have any life insurance. Out of the 40% that do have life insurance, 60 to 70% are underinsured, right? And yet they have everything they don't need. They've got car insurance, they've got mortgage, they got all these extra things. They got
phone insurance, pet insurance.
Right.
Pet insurance is a crazy one, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, what we do with our money is crazy to me. And that's why the comment I made earlier is like middle class was never supposed to exist. Right. Middle class only exists today because of the improper use of the money that they got or that they were able to obtain. Right, and had they learned how to be able to do good with their money. I had a guy that was on the podcast recently as well, said he made a couple of $1 million for sure. He's made over $5 million in his lifetime working where he's working, and then he's like, "Well, what do I have to show for it?"
Where did it all go?
It's like, dang, man, you know how many people can't say they made that much money, and you can say you made that much money, and you're like, where did it all go? Right, it does not matter how much money somebody makes. Did y'all recently see PBD's podcast? I don't think he was on his podcast, but he was on a podcast, and I think it was like 20 socialists or something like that, or non-capitalists, arguing with one capitalist because PBD's a capitalist. Mm-hmm. And PBD, by the way, guys, if y'all don't know, is Patrick David. He's one of our mentors. But Patrick David was on this podcast where there was like 20 anti-capitalists. And some of the stuff that when I'm listening to them, I'm like, there's no way that you think that. There's no way that you think, like, for instance, have you ever heard of the statement that capitalism is racist?
I've heard it, but that's stupid.
Have you ever heard, like, capitalism is what causes poverty?
Yeah, but that's stupid too.
It's stupid.
Laziness and ignorance causes poverty.
Absolutely. I 100% agree because I'm like, I look out and I'm thinking, man, you understand capitalism is the equal playing ground. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter anything. It only matters about the fact that if you will outwork the guy next to you. Because if I look at a JOB like a socialist program.
Right.
Because when you go to that job, it doesn't matter. You could be older. You can have more wisdom. You can have more consistency. You can have more education. All that stuff. And guess what? You're still going to get paid next to as long as you on that same job duty as the other guy, you're going to get paid when you get
the
paid.
exact same as a person right next to you.
And then let's not even bring up DEI, where if you're unqualified, you can get my spot. I could be here 10 years.
Yeah.
I could be more qualified. But because the boss gets a bonus to hire somebody who's not qualified, let's put that guy in.
Yeah.
The ignorance is going on. And we need to get people educated on, especially how money works, because of the simple fact that money is, it's like I heard a quote like this. It says, money is like, what do you say? Money is like air. You can't live without it because it impacts almost everything you need in life, right? Like in order to walk, in order to talk, in order to live or exist or anything, you need air, right? And money, if you have no money, what are you going to be able to do? Are you going to be able to create impact for your family? Are you going to be able to create, the legacy that you want to create? And when I see people that come up with every excuse possible, you know what I think? Is, man, you have no ownership over your life.
Yes, but that's the victim mentality that comes with socialism, right? Because a person that has a socialist ideology as opposed to a capitalistic one, socialism is supposed to be given to you. We're here, I'm here, just give me. You know what I mean? Give me what I need. I shouldn't have to work for it. But when there's no that's what it is. There's no accountability there, right? In capitalism, you eat what you kill. If you don't get up and go to work, you don't eat. Right. If you don't learn what you need to know, you get ran over, right? So the difference is the society or like our culture is being brainwashed and pushed towards socialism and lack of accountability, because when you're not accountable for yourself, you always got to look to somebody else to do for you or to tell you what to do or somebody else to blame. But when you take on the idea that if it is to be, it's up to me type thing, I got to make it happen. There's no shorts, no excuses. If it don't happen, it's my fault. So how do we fix this? How do we make it happen? And that type of thinking is not conducive to people being controlled by a government.
That's right.
So
I look out at the landscape today because that's exactly it. We got so many people who are victim mindsets and stuff like that, and I'm really like, bro, you fell for the propaganda, right? And then to even think that capitalism is a negative thing, when I look at history and when slavery was abolished, when that group of people had every right to play victim, right? Slavery, we're being disenfranchised with mortgage companies, being disenfranchised with insurance companies. We're not even allowed to get insurance companies because, with a wrong race, all these different things. They had 100% ability, if they wanted to say we're victims. The reason we can't build, the reason we can't do this is because everything is against us, and it's legal. Today, it's illegal to marginalize somebody because of their race, right? When it comes to loans and things of that nature. Right. And yet, at that time, before 1908, for instance, we had Black Wall Streets popping up everywhere in America because capitalism works. Because capitalism can literally say, hey, man, if you'll go build, if you'll go work, you deserve to build your own city. You deserve to have the money that you have. And when the 1930s came around and the Great Depression hit, there was still Black Wall Streets surviving very well because they were self-sufficient, because they weren't playing victim. They were playing we own everything that we're doing, and it's all on us to do it. Right? So, what were you about to say?
You said Black Wall Streets everywhere. They were popping up as fast as they were getting burnt down and flooded.
That's true, too. That is true, too. But, well, it's partly true. I mean, we're always going to have an attack.
Always.
We're always going to have an attack. Because even right now, when you look at I want to say it was Art of War by Sun Tzu, said the best war or the best way to win a war is not even let your enemy know he's in one. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But if your enemies don't know they're in a war, that's the best war because you can go in and just destroy them, right?
The easiest
Right.
war to win is the one that they don't know that they're fighting.
That's it. And today, I think that's where we're at. Today, most people don't know that they're in a war. They don't realize that that war is the war on your mind, the war on your identity, the war on your belief system, right? And at least back then, we knew there was a war. Like, it was obvious, right? Vicksburg, Mississippi, all the different all the areas around America that had to go through war. But at the same time, when I think about, like, that's why when PBD came out with that shirt that said "Business is War," man, I bought 2 shirts because because I knew one was going to fade eventually. I was going to wear that sucker so much, but business is war. I was in a recent social media discussion as well about women in business, and maybe you want to chime in on this, women in business, and that it's microaggressions and all these different things, and people are making it very hard for women in business. And I'm just thinking, it's hard for anybody in business. Why are you making it about one gender? And then
Right.
and then they're like, yeah, but I'm a female. You should learn how to talk to me better and stuff like that. I'm like, but men ain't gonna do that. Men are going to go to war with one another,
Right.
and then they're gonna find out when we go to war. Are you a formidable foe that I should respect, or should you be one that I can stomp on, right?
Right.
And it's different for, like, I guess like a name, but I want you to chime in. Like, what do you think, like, women in business, because you're a female coming into business, now your whole mindset's changed.
Right.
You're leaving I'm unemployable at this point, like, but,
Right.
you're getting in business because you understand that that's the way to build wealth, and it's the way to create, a legacy and stuff for your family. How is it as a woman in business and dealing with, naysayers and doubters and people that I just want to call them in a group called haters.
Right. I mean, it's at this point just kind of proving them wrong, showing them, like, growing up, it was different. I mean, my mom was a single mom, so I saw her. She was very strong. I saw her do a lot of things by herself, doing both roles as father and mother. So seeing a strong woman wasn't a problem. And so for me, getting into business, it's kind of almost like a comparison. Like, okay, I have to do this. I have girls. I have girls of my own. So to show them that, well, if I can do it, you can do it. And I can run with the guys too. I mean, just keep up, and I don't get offended. And I guess I know for me, maybe it's just my personality, but I mean, men are men, and either you can be around them and take what they have to say and let it just slide off your shoulder, or you can take it personal and run away. But it's business, so you have to understand that. Like, if you want to be in business and if you want to be in a man's world, essentially, you have to learn how to run with them.
And it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. That's really what it is. I mean, yes, men are, I would say men are predominantly in it because, men, the patriarchal society and evolution and everything. But even today, I mean, I look at there's 5 black women who have created $1 billion company in America. One of them I would love to highlight because she created, what's her name is Fawn Weaver, created Uncle Nearest whiskey. And I don't say she created it, but she helped bring it to the marketplace and then turned it into a $1 billion company. One of the most awarded. But if you look at what she's going through right now, and she's being attacked, they're trying to, defame her character, they're trying to, do all these things. You can look at it as public information. They want her to sell her shares and they want to take control of the company. She's like,
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, right.
yeah, and so now they're trying to defame her character because they thought now you made $1 billion company. Now you'll exit. And she's like, there's no exit strategy right here. Like, we want to keep going. We want to see how far we can take this. And they're like, you should probably tap out because we're ready to take over. No, thank you. And I know Fawn Weaver. Shout out to Fawn Weaver.
Oh, now you want to take over.
That's a boss chick if I ever saw one. But when you see her personality, her energy, and when she comes into the room, she is going to demand that respect, right? And that, she may have came from humble beginnings, but don't get it twisted. She's here to play ball, right? And I think that today, that's what you need more of the people that don't look and say like, well, because I'm a female, I'm coming into the business world. Like, no, you hold your ground, right?
Right.
Because men are going to have to hold their ground. We're at war with each other all the time. And if I want to be in business, it's not a gender thing. Like, I understand that man's trying to go to war with me. He wants to take my business. He wants to knock out my market share. I understand it. So when I was in that argument on social media, I'm like, I don't even know where y'all getting this. This is the business. This is the name of the game when it comes to business, right? And so, there's a lot of different perspectives out there. Mine is, you got to grind. We got to go out there and build something, and we got to be ready for the war that is upon us. And so. What's the goal for Hero on the next level with Impact Society and how we're partnering? What is your next goals, short-term goals for what you're doing? Is it just staying local in the city? Are you already branching out to other cities? What does that look like for how we're partnered up?
Oh no, staying local was never in the cards for me. Even with Hero, we got members of the Hero organization all over the country because we started that back in 2018. So I really love the name Impact Society because, I remember at the beginning of this year as well, one of our first calls with PBD and Matt, Impact was the word of the year. I don't know if you remember. But that is the goal, to have an impact in our respective communities, right? All over the country, all over the world at some point. I can't make the impact that I want to make all by myself, right? It's going to take a team of people. It's going to take a community, a society. It's going to take for us to change the culture of our communities, right? So that's really it, to branch out and reach as many people as possible with this information. Some people are coming to it from different directions or, from different situations, different places in their life. But the great thing is, with so many of us having diverse backgrounds and experiences, we can find that middle ground with just about anybody that's willing to do something new, do something different. And it's really not even new. It's just different. So,
more work.
If you like what you've been getting, keep doing what you've been doing.
Right.
But if you want something different,
you gotta change.
Hero, Impact Society, we're here to help.
That's right. So, appreciate you guys being on the podcast today and helping the people understand more about what we're doing and how we help and how they could play a part and partner with us, right? And so, you guys, if you're looking for more resources, you're looking for tools, you're looking to get plugged in with the community, man, tap in. Love to have a conversation with you guys. And our goal is to reach out to the nations and beyond. I want to see this go worldwide. That'd be amazing. But it starts locally. It starts with you deciding that you want to change your life. And when you come in, we're going to have some coaches and people that will partner with you. And that is why our motto is each one reach one, each one teach one. This is Impact Society.